Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to Morning Break Part 2. We're here with us, we have a very special guest, Sister Hara Muhammad, who does martial arts training. Assalamu alaikum, Sister.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. So, I understand you do karate.
Yeah.
How did you first get involved in that and what kind of made you interested in it?
Well, my friend told me about karate and it was kind of a different sport as opposed to like basketball, football, and I don't really like them, so I thought I'd try it out. And then I went and I decided to carry on. And it's really good because there were women instructors, so it was like an Islamic environment, so which made me comfortable. And I've been doing it for like 2 years, so.
So, the stereotypical image of karate that people have generally is that you be able to like chop through wood with your hands, or you know, that kind of Karate Kid kind of thing, which is like really strict discipline and training, etc. So, do they even like explore that whole discipline side of things and teach you things like how to focus your strength on chopping wood with your hands and that kind of thing, or do they not even touch on that at all?
Like not really, but like in the beginning of karate session, like there's this thing called mokso when we just have to close our eyes and clear our mind from everything. But because as Muslims we only focus on Allah, whereas other people they don't really focus on anything, which is very good.
Karate isn't just about physical strength, is it? It gives you something else as well, doesn't it?
Yes, like it makes you strong physically as well as mentally, and it also gives you patience. Like I remember in the beginning where it was hard to learn the moves, and it was really frustrating. But now, like I'm more patient and stuff.
How does it make you stronger when you said mentally as well? What do you mean?
It gives you karate gives you like a structure. So my teachers had told us behind every step there's like a story behind it, and like she tells us what it is. And like there is like a step where you like hit on your there's a like large impact on your knee. We hit it from the side of our feet, which is, and she tells us like how to do it and stuff like that.
And what impact it will have and why it's powerful, etc.
Okay, well, that's really interesting because I think often, like, for example, if you're thinking of, did you say it's the lower part of your leg? You don't think that that's going to have an impact, you know, using a different part of your body. So that's really useful to know. But is it true that when you're learning karate, you also have to know Japanese? And if you do, then what do you need to know it for?
Like, in order to obtain a yellow belt, you can know Japanese and English. Like, it's not really important, but like for higher belts you need to know Japanese and the test will only be said in Japanese. Like for example the numbers like ich, ni, san, shi is like 1, 2, 3, 4 and like when the teacher says hidari gamai, you have to go in your junzuki stance, which is like this, so it's like punching, and like also like when she says maige retrudan, you go in your fighting stance, and Chudan is the stomach area, so you kick to your stomach area.
Okay.
Yeah. And like Hajime is like start, and like Yame is like when you relax to a relaxing position.
Was that quite hard for you to get your head round?
Not really, because she like always like constantly she reminds us of these words, and she only speaks Japanese, so it's really helpful.
So again, that's kind of like the structure that you were saying earlier, that she takes you even before you start fighting, she takes you through the moves of like starting like that, and then, you know, do you know what I mean? Like even it's steps in your body as well. So that's really interesting.
I know you've actually bought some of your belts and your certificates. Can we have a look? And how long did it take you to sort of achieve these belts?
Well, this is my orange belt.
Wow. So are you on this level right now?
Yeah, I'm going to get a green belt, inshallah.
Inshallah.
And this is yellow belt. You first get a yellow belt, which it took me 2 terms, and the orange belt, like 1 year or so to get.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
And in the orange test, there's like a written test as well. So.
A written test in karate?
Like, not the yellow belt, only higher belts, you get a written test.
Okay, and what does the written test actually consist of?
Oh, like the words, like they like write the movements, you have to like translate it to English, like, like this is the punch, or like the kicking step and stuff.
So they write the words in Japanese, and you have
not
to
in Japanese, like the moves they write it's in English, but like Japanese.
Okay.
Could you talk us through, you said that you get the yellow belt first and then you get the orange. What do you have to do to get the yellow belt, and then how do you actually move on to the orange?
Okay, well first actually there's actually a red belt, but like that's only like the punching, so like the Junsoku stance. And for the yellow belt, we have to know how to do blocks, like how to fight do 2 blocks, and we have to like know how to punch and like maigeri, like the important things. And in order to get an orange belt, there's something called kata, which is like a set of movements, like a whole set of movements. It's like synchronized movements that we do. We have to know 1, but like for the green belt, I think there's like 2. You need to be able to know 2, and like it's most like to get orange belt. It's like mostly like the same things for the yellow belt. So we have to like go through it. So it's not like we do like we get a yellow belt, then we forget everything. It's like carrying on.
It's sort of
from
building
it.
on from it. Yeah, that's it. So you said that the orange belt actually took you like a year.
Yeah.
So the things that you had to add on to get a yellow belt and remember what you got for the yellow belt as well, that all took you like a year, and that's wow. And was that you training every week?
Yeah, every week, twice a week.
Wow.
Wow, alhamdulillah. So when you're actually doing the exam and you know trying to get the belt, the next belt, how are you assessed? Do you actually fight against an opponent, or what happens?
Well, like we're all like standing up in a line, and our instructor is like sitting down, and she's like testing us. So like we have to be like really serious at this like really serious test, and then we do our moves. But like when we do our blocks, like we could do it with an opponent, and we have to test it out.
Okay, so some of it is with an opponent and some of it isn't. Okay.
Have you ever been hurt in the process of training?
Yes, actually recently I hurt my toe.
How did you do that?
Well, we were running and my toe kind of hit the mat.
Oh.
But like that's a downfall of like sports. That's alright experience.
And it's so at least it's not because someone knocked you out.
Yeah.
That's all right then, alhamdulillah. So what other belts are there apart from? I mean, you said inshallah you want to get your green one, was it? What comes after that?
I think purple comes after that. I think it's like brown. I think. And I think there's like different kinds of brown.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
So how far away are you from the black then? The black belt?
Well, in order to get a black belt, you need to it takes 47 years, and also depends how many times you attend the lessons, but no less.
47
No,
years.
47 years.
47 years. Sorry, we've just got bad hearing. Sorry about that. Okay, so 4 to 7 years. So inshallah, you can get it soon.
Yeah.
Okay. So your instructor is actually, a female instructor, and she has a black belt. How important is it to you, though, the fact that that the lessons that you're having are by a female instructor, and that all the girls in your class are female?
It like makes you feel comfortable, like in front of like a male stranger, and like it's easier and it's more fun.
Yeah, and I guess also like from a both Islamic and also generally from a family point of view, it's quite nice, for example, for your mum to know that you're in a halal environment. That's really handy, because there isn't necessarily always that kind of option around. I know where I live, we are lucky to, alhamdulillah, to have a women's group. It's not a Muslim group, but it's a women's group, so that's quite good. I also heard, I know someone who was doing karate with their son, and they, for example, didn't want to, with the male instructor, be, learning certain moves, or when it came to fighting opponents. And so they requested it, and the instructor was totally respectful of it. But, not having to do that saves a lot of hassle, doesn't it? Knowing that your instructor understands that.
And also, we don't do this, but some people, they bow to their instructors, but we don't do it because we only bow to Allah, so it's one of the things.
Okay. Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so I'm looking at these belts and I'm quite tempted to actually try one on. Can you show me how to put it on?
Sure, so get your belt.
It's
quite a long. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say.
So is this like the standard size that everyone gets?
Yeah,
Okay.
but there is a smaller size, for small people.
For little kids or something as well. Okay. Cool. So we
So
wrap it around once.
Yeah, once. Okay, so you get to this position.
And then you've got to put the knot at the back. So,
Okay,
put
so
your knot
this
on.
So it has to be straight from the back. This way,
Okay.
roughly.
So like this.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, and then you get this side
Yeah.
and you put it underneath.
Put it underneath.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you twist it tightly. And then you knot it once.
Okay.
So this side should be showing.
Okay.
Okay, I'm baffled. Okay, hold on. Let's just try it like this. This is clearly why I don't do karate.
Yeah.
Okay, so mine's completely wrong, I think. But yeah, something like that. So you have to do it like this every time you go for karate?
Yeah.
Okay, and does it get in the way?
Sometimes when you do.
Is your name on it? I mean, obviously, like Humera has just put on your orange belt, so anybody could think, oh, that's it, she's a qualified orange belt professional. So how do we? Is there any sort of thing?
Only when you get the black belt, you get your name in Japanese.
Ah, okay. So that means anybody could just take your orange belt and say, yes, I'm an orange belt black belt, in theory. Right. So make sure you take that home with you. Yeah, not many girls from our community are sort of either eager to do martial arts, or it's not very common practice. In sports in general, in fact, isn't common, but especially martial arts.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I actually don't think it's advertised properly, and like many girls, they think it's only a male sport, so they're not really encouraged to go. And like even in schools, we only like do basketball, football. We don't really do karate, so they wouldn't know that a women's only one is available.
But also, your family support you doing karate, don't they?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, because often sometimes you find that, you know, they think martial arts is associated with violence, and it's not so associated with discipline and, you know, self kind of development, etc., that they think, no, you know, you shouldn't be doing martial arts. So you never found that with your family, which is alhamdulillah.
And it's good because I can even take back the things I learnt home and like practice and the exercises, which is really good to keep fit and lose weight.
So technically your mum's an orange belt too, yeah? What you were saying just now about the stereotypes or not necessarily advertising karate, I think you're right. I think people do think it's quite an aggressive thing, but at the same time I think there's that stereotype of girls not wanting to be involved in that. And boxing and other things, kickboxing for example, or things that kind of spin off from karate. I think that personally, I think that's another problem, that people assume girls wouldn't want to be in some sort of contact sport. I know when I used to be a teacher that the girls who I taught, they had an all-girls football team, and the boys used to really tease them about that. And again, there's absolutely nothing wrong with a bunch of girls going in their spare time to play football, but I think it's just something that culturally is perceived as something girls wouldn't necessarily want to do. But, you know, alhamdulillah, we've got people like you breaking into that. So, and it sounds like there's loads of different girls groups across the UK doing these kind of things. So that hopefully should change now.
Yeah, inshallah. And hopefully maybe, you know, girls will get encouraged by obviously seeing you on the show. They'll think, you know what, I can do it. Because when I first saw you, I thought, she doesn't look like a girl who does karate. Because, you know, you kind of have that perception in your head where you're kind of thinking, you know, someone's going to be really tall and kind of really you know, aggressive or quite scary looking, muscly, exactly. Yeah. Whereas, you know, you're just a very nice, sweet girl. So you think, oh, actually, you know. But it just shows that it's not for physical kind of violence. It's for physical discipline, but as well as, you know, mental, spiritual, etc. So that's really, really nice. And if you know, girls watching want to get into karate, how do you think that they can possibly, what are the avenues that they can take?
So like if girls like Google like the local karate centers or like go to a local mosque, maybe they'd be able to find out if there's any available, I think.
And it's also just really helpful, I think, to ask around friends and community members, because you said yourself that you heard through a friend. I think people would know about things that are going on, wouldn't they? Yes,
inshallah, yeah. I mean, it would be great if more people can get to it. I think in Pakistan it's one of those things that you have to do in school, isn't it? I think. Yeah, I mean my cousins actually had to do karate as they were going through secondary school. It was kind of compulsory, part of like PE, so to speak. And it just gives women a basic knowledge of self-defense and obviously discipline, etc. And it keeps them obviously fit and trim and in shape, healthy, because obviously I think in Pakistan, like here, you have like netball and you have lacrosse and you have tennis and you have whatever else in girls' schools, where in Pakistan they don't really have that type of facility. So I think that's why I think they more go into martial arts, because it's more kind of gives you a bit of everything. So that's quite nice.
I think it's really interesting what you were saying about having that Islamic side to it, which is about disciplining yourself like physically and mentally, and making sure that you understand that you use this strength. In a sense, you're using it for Allah, aren't you? Because you're controlling it. You're not using it just to... Exactly. You don't want to take advantage of the strength that Allah has given us. I think, like, I was watching a program the other day about some of the world's strongest people. I don't know if you saw it. And there was a guy... Yes, I do watch really random TV. There was a guy who has got the strongest left arm or something.
Left arm?
Yeah, because he basically does a lot of those, the hand wrestling tournaments.
Okay.
And he's known for having the strongest left arm. And he does all this crazy training and stuff for it. And he was just like, found it really interesting, and I was saying to my sister actually that it's interesting that with the right mentality and with the right, I guess the right approach mentally, if you have that in your head that you're doing something with the intention of making sure that it's only for Allah, then I think that's pretty much, like, from my opinion anyway, I was thinking that that's what our imams used to do, didn't they? They had so much physical strength. And they used to use it purely just for Allah. Like, for example, there's that famous time where Imam Ali alayhi salam was praying and he didn't even feel an arrow in his foot.
Right, yeah.
That's actually, that is kind of the same concept, isn't it? Because you've got such control of your physical and your mental strength that you can even block out pain. Or you can use the strength that you have I guess the reverse is to use the strength to do things like physically, with a focus, exactly. And I think that's ultimately what karate is teaching you, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Do you feel that it's also increased your confidence as well?
Yeah, totally, yeah.
So that's good, yeah. So, and you haven't had to use it then, your skills in public or anything like that?
No.
I bet you've tried them out on your sister.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Sister Hara, for coming on the show and talking to us about your martial arts training and karate, and thank you so much. We've really enjoyed having you on the show.
Thank you.
Okay, it's now time to go for a quick break, but join us after the show for the Nutrition Kitchen and a mother's advice. We'll see you in a bit.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to Morning Break Part 2. We're here with us, we have a very special guest, Sister Hara Muhammad, who does martial arts training. Assalamu alaikum, Sister.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. So, I understand you do karate.
Yeah.
How did you first get involved in that, and what kind of made you interested in it?
Well, my friend told me about karate, and it was kind of a different sport as opposed to like basketball, football, and I don't really like them, so I thought I'd try it out. And then I went
to know Japanese, and if you do, then what do you need to know it for?
Like, in order to obtain a yellow belt, you can know Japanese and English. Like, it's not really important, but like for higher belts, you need to know Japanese, and the test will only be said in Japanese. Like, for example, the numbers like ich, ni, san, shi is like 1, 2, 3, 4, and like when the teacher says hidari gamai, you have to go in your you have to go in your Junzuki stance, which is like this, so it's like punching. And like also like when she says Maigeri Chudan, you go in your fighting stance, and Chudan is when I decided to carry on. And it's really good because there were women instructors, so it was like in an Islamic environment, so which made me comfortable and I've been doing it for like 2 years.
So the stereotypical image of karate that people have generally is that you be able to like chop through wood with your hands, or that kind of Karate Kid kind of thing, which is like really strict discipline and training, etc. So do they even like explore that whole discipline side of things and teach you things like how to focus your strength on chopping wood with your hands and that kind of thing, or do they not even touch on that at all?
Like, not really, but like in the beginning of karate session, like there's this thing called mokuso, when we just have to close our eyes and clear our mind from everything. But because as Muslims we only focus on Allah, whereas other people, they don't really focus on anything, which is very good.
Karate isn't just about physical strength, is it? It gives you something else as well, doesn't it?
Yes, like it makes you strong physically as well as mentally, and it also gives you patience. Like I remember in the beginning where it was hard to learn the moves, but and it was really frustrating. But now, like I'm more patient and stuff.
How does it make you stronger when you said mentally as well? What do you
It
mean?
gives you karate gives you like a structure. So my teachers told us behind every step there's like a story behind it, and like she tells us what it is. And like there is like a step where you like hit on your there's a like large impact on your knee. We hit it from the side of our feet, which is, and she tells us like how to do it and stuff like that.
And what impact it will have and why it's powerful, etc.
Okay, well, that's really interesting, because I think often, like, for example, if you're thinking of, did you say it's the lower part of your leg? You don't think that that's going to have an impact, you know, using a different part of your body. So that's really useful to know. But is it true that when you're learning karate, you also have